This from 𝙆𝙍𝙍𝙍's piece yesterday on ESPN.com. Quote, there are strong indications that Jaire Alexander's time with the Packers will end without him playing another down. Multiple team sources have privately expressed their frustrations with Alexander's inability to stay healthy and or play through injuries, end quote.
So the biggest thing there is when you see the multiple, right? And I think injuries are tough when it comes to the sport of football, right? You want to respect the shelf life of an NFL player. It's the not-for-long league, right? But you also paid this man top dollar. You signed him at top dollar.
You sure did. You made him, I think at that time, the highest paid
cornerback in the NFL when you signed him.
Yeah.
And to get the amount of games that we got, there were times where he was full participant on Fridays, and then we get to Saturday and Sunday, and it's Jaire Alexander is out. To me, when I hear multiple team sources and his inability to play or play through injuries, I'll skip the inability to play. When you have multiple sources and it's the and or playing through injuries, that's the part where if I'm a Packer fan, it feels like I'd be mad about the tenure from Jaire Alexander. I'd be frustrated because now you're just cutting the guy and you're like, we're gonna save money in cap space. We're gonna move on. We're gonna try and fill that spot. And I get it. If you can fill the spot with somebody that's reliable, that might make up for the fact that he was really good when he's on the field because he wasn't on the field when he needed to be on the field as much. But I'd be frustrated in that building if that building is saying to me that he didn't want to. I'll say it. They're telling you that he didn't want to play through his injuries. That's what it was. There's no reason why that would put multiple sources on 𝙆𝙍𝙍𝙍's article saying that Jaire didn't want to play through injuries. That frustrates me.
Yeah, they're frustrated enough of the fact that they actually let it out.
They had to. This is baloney.
𝙆𝙍𝙍𝙍 to feel like, hey, we feel this way. And I mean, yeah, there's frustration, and my frustration starts with the fact that you had a guy who, when healthy, which as you just talked about, the last 3 years he just has not been healthy whatsoever, so he hasn't been available. And when healthy, he can be one of the best corners in the NFL, and we see the impact that he can have. But overall, he hasn't played, he hasn't contributed, and now the Green Bay Packers are going to lose a guy that I still believe that other teams in the NFL would take a chance on. 100% are going to take a chance on trying to get Jaire Alexander because they're going to hope that he stays healthy because if healthy, it could come back to bite the Green Bay Packers. I just think it is such a shame, an absolute shame, that Jaire Alexander is going to be basically let go by the Green Bay Packers and you get absolutely no compensation from him. It is sad to see his tenure that we all had so much high hopes for end just like this. It is. And when I look at the Green Bay Packers as a football team overall, I mean, I love Goody, but a lot of these guys that Goody has signed outside
Kenny
of
Clark,
linemen,
Rashawn Gary, Jaire Alexander.
These guys that they got in the first round that they signed to these contracts haven't really worked out.
So now we can take the conversation to the first round picks have not been good since Jordan Love. And then if you want to go back behind Jordan Love, the guys that were good that you signed have not produced after you've signed them for injuries or performance.
And technically speaking, with Jordan Love,
you can even throw 𝙆𝙍 into there.
No, you can throw 𝙆𝙍 100% gets thrown in there because he got injured. 𝙆𝙍 is part of that, right? Like we're talking about Jaire not being healthy. 𝙆𝙍 wasn't healthy. I know his knee, he couldn't control that, but his career looks like it's basically over. Jordan Love, I love Jordan Love, but a lot of people say he didn't play up to that $55 million. So we don't have very many people we can look to that he signed and then he got to a second contract outside of maybe Elgton Jenkins on this roster that actually performed up to that second contract. And when it looks at Jaire, it looks like the Green Bay Packers are going to be a year too late on moving on from Jaire. 𝘍𝙍𝙍 Douglas should have stayed. Jaire should have been gone.
It would have been really hard to make that call.
Very tough. Very tough.
But
hindsight, though.
It is hindsight, but what if I told you that Jaire is gone and Rasul Douglas doesn't make the plays against Dallas to flip the field and give them a chance in a playoff game? We know when he was on the field, he was good. But golly gee, he wasn't on the field very often.
Very often is very right. And so that's, again, this is why this is all disappointing. You know, I'm a Jaire guy. I am a Jaire guy, so I'm disappointed. And also, I'm a bigger picture guy. So we can sit here and be mad at Jaire, mad at Goody about how things ended. But the way that I look at it is this. Now the Green Bay Packers have a huge void that they have to fill because they are losing, when healthy, one of the best corners in the NFL in Jaire Alexander, and you're getting zero compensation for him. It's shocking to me that you got more compensation for Preston Smith than what you're probably going to end up getting for Jaire Alexander. It's disappointing and upsetting. And what could be even worse, if Jaire Alexander becomes a free agent and decides, you know what, I'm going to go to a place like Minnesota or Detroit or Chicago, and then the Green Bay Packers have to play against them twice. Listen, that's the dude that I fear. I'm going to tell you this right now. Jaire is locking down every receiver we have on this roster when healthy. Every receiver.
Well, yeah, because they're all pretty average.
And he's an above average. He's a very good
when
player
on
when
the
healthy.
field.
Yeah, when healthy. And so it sucks. It is absolutely just terrible for the Green Bay Packers that this is how Jaire Alexander tenure is going to end. It's going to end with basically the two sides for the last 2 years not getting along. Jaire Alexander constantly being hurt and not contributing, and him not living up to the contract, and another negative mark on Goody with his decisions that he makes.
Yeah. It makes the whole first-round conversation go even further.
It makes it worse. It does.
It does.
It makes it even worse when you cannot get guys to perform on their second contract. That means you draft a guy, you get lucky for the first 4 years, and then all of a sudden the second 4 is like, oh, nope.
No good on the field, and then no good in terms of Stokes, Wyatt, Walker, LVN, Jordan Morgan, question mark. Jordan Love, not question mark, but needs to play up to contract. Right, up to that second contract that they've given him since his first year. Sean and Beaver Dam, 800-990-3776. You're up on the Carbless Talking text line.
Hey, guys. I called him Jaire Bakhtiari a couple months ago.
I remember.
And Kyle, you're right. When he plays, he's great. But like everybody says, and your best ability is availability. And unfortunately, he's never available. He can go sit on the Vikings bench and watch the game up close. And it does suck that we're not getting anything for him. But who's gonna? If I was another team, I'd be like, I don't want him. I mean, I'm not going to give you anything unless he walks in the door and he's going to play. And he's not gonna. He's soft. Unfortunately, yep. When he's great, he's great. But he's great so few times that it's not even worth it.
Well, it's funny because I think if I'm a GM, I'm after Jaire, but I'm after on my terms. It's going to be incentive based. It's going to be short contract. It's not going to be 4 years. It's not going to be the Patrick Surtain in Denver contract. It is going to be, you are on the field, you're going to get paid. Obviously, he's going to get like guarantees and whatnot, but he's not getting those mass guarantees, that long contract based off the track record and the history, because it was kind of a failure at the end of the day.
And the thing is when you separate from him, and when he goes and performs on another team and he plays through injuries because he has something to prove, he's going to be somebody that just won't sit right with you. You're not going to sit there and accept the fact that, hey, it was time to move on. Aaron Rodgers, he could have played as well as possible in New York, and I wouldn't have been like, man, we should have kept the guy, right? Aaron Jones could have played. He could have rushed for 1,600 yards, and I still would have been like, hey, Josh Jacobs, it was time to move on. I'm good with Josh Jacobs. With this Jaire Alexander situation, I just have a fear that Jaire Alexander is going to go somewhere else and ball out, and the Packers, if they don't draft a corner early in the first round or in the first round at all, the Packers are going to have struggles at the corner position.